Have you ever thought about how cigarettes manipulate you? It's not just a habit, it's a con job. And in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about how cigarettes try to trick you and how you can outsmart them. The cigarette habit, the smoking habit rather, is formed through pattern associations. So, in the same way that our brain knows what to do when we see a toothbrush, when it's time to brush our teeth, we instantly know the pattern of brushing our teeth. We also start to form patterns around smoking if we do it long enough and often enough. So, cravings for smoking is more of an itch to complete a pattern. Most patterns that are formed are beneficial, such as the previous example of brushing our teeth. This is a normal, healthy pattern. Or every time somebody sticks their hand out to shake your hand, you don't have to consciously think about what to do next. You start to you form a pattern early on about what that symbol means to shake a hand, and you instantly know to stick your hand out and also shake their hand. So in this regard, patterns are actually very useful because we don't have to consciously think through every single thing, right? When we see a seat, we don't have to consciously analyze what that is. We just know that it's a thing that we can sit in. So, in the same way that patterns can be helpful, there can be destructive patterns as well, right? So, whenever a pattern forms to smoke a cigarette every time you have a coffee, this is a destructive pattern. It's not helping us because there's no real reason for that pattern to exist. It's just been paired over time, over and over again. Coffee, cigarette. And so our brain starts to link these two things together, and a negative pattern is formed. So one of the very, very common patterns that's formed is the idea that smoking helps people relax, right? But that's not actually true. Nicotine spikes adrenaline within just a few seconds. So what's actually helping people relax is the breathing pattern of smoking, the long exhale, right? So you can actually practice this technique right now where you breathe in for a few seconds, let's say 3 seconds, and then you breathe out for 6 seconds. So take a moment and do that just to see what it's like. Just breathe in for 3 seconds and then breathe out for 6 seconds. And you'll realize that that breathing pattern is what's actually helping you relax. Cigarettes just con their way into tricking you into believing that it's cigarettes that are helping you relax. It's not the cigarette, it's just simply that breathing pattern. So, one of the ways in which you can start to break the pattern of smoking is every time you notice a craving, first realize that has a lot more to do with a pattern completion, which is why you're noticing the craving to begin with. Very little to do with nicotine in comparison to your brain wanting to complete a pattern. First, recognize that. Second, instead of acting on the craving, I want you to visualize all of the negatives of being a smoker. So take a minute or two, or a few minutes at least, to just close your eyes and visualize yourself down the road continuing to be a smoker and all of the health impacts. You can notice the difficulty breathing, the lower energy. You can even imagine being in the hospital if you continued to be a smoker for a long period of time. Inevitably, it will lead to being in a hospital, noticing health impacts, and you can even imagine what your family and friends are thinking and how they're feeling when you are suffering like this. So really get into this visualization, visualize in vivid detail the terrible things that come out of smoking, so that all of a sudden you're starting to break the pattern of believing that you're gonna get some sort of reward from the cigarette. This is not true. Of course, long term you will inevitably start to notice terrible things coming from smoking. So to summarize this video, the illusion of smoking cons you into believing that you're actually getting some sort of benefit, but really it's just a completion of a pattern that you're noticing the benefit from, right? And the patterns have been set over time. However, once you start to break these patterns by noticing the negatives, visualizing the negatives of smoking, whenever you notice that craving, you're starting to embed a new pattern, a long-term future pattern where, if you continue that behavior, you'll notice terrible outcomes. This is one of the ways in which you can start to rewire your brain without doing much. You're just using the power, the same principle of association that got you into smoking can be used to pull yourself out. So if you want more tools like this and fresh ideas and perspectives on smoking and the behavior of smoking, go ahead and hit subscribe. I'll be releasing content like this every single day. At least I'll do my best to release every single day of the week so you can get more and more ideas on how to quit smoking for good.